Hi, Mark Jabin here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department, and let's talk about this pandemic. So, here is our dilemma. Open up too early and risk opening up Pandora's box with unnecessary suffering and dying because we jumped too early. Or open up too late. Lost businesses, lost jobs, and an economy too beaten down to recover. And as with any dilemma, there is no easy answer or simple solution. Instead, it takes a balancing act between the risks and the benefits and a choice. We won't get this perfectly right, but there is a way to limit the downside risk. Take a step, set a defined time to pause, and see what the data says. That way, maybe we can catch the pot before it boils over. So what does the data say right now? Well, R naught this week in North Carolina remains around 0.9, still below 1, and that's favorable. Every person in our study this week of high contact essential workers tested negative, and that's great. It tells us there's not much infection hanging around in Haywood County. What about the early warning signals? Hospitalizations and the seriousness of those hospitalized remained about the same. With the expanded criteria, more symptomatic people were tested this week, and we await those results. And we've been tracking COVID-like illness since last week, and no changes there. However, on a troubling note, just this week, 7 people did test positive, and 5 of their contacts as well. That's 12 new cases in just 1 week. This pushes the doubling rate well below 4 days. This is not favorable and puts us on a risky trajectory. And if this persists, we may well be on our way to becoming a hot spot. We'll know more in 14 days. That's the incubation period of the virus. And of significance, many of those who tested positive had not isolated early on. That was critical to containing spread with the first 5 cases. But now, it will be unlikely we can effectively trace all the contacts. So the data is mixed. It seems we've caught an important inflection point, just as things may be taking off. We now know the virus is spreading in the community, and we know the heat has certainly been turned up. And what about people practicing the critical public health recommendations? What do you see when you go out and about? Right now, the best way you can help to control this outbreak is following those recommendations. Especially important now is to wear a mask in public. Some of the people who tested positive had no symptoms. Best to assume everyone, including you, may have the virus. Recently, I saw a sign at a rally, and it said, "Give me liberty or give me COVID." Really? I mean, I'm as frustrated as everyone else by the inability to get disaster relief funds to everyone who needs it. There's no reason we should be pitting financial health against people's lives and suffering. We should all demand it be a high priority. The agony of losing a job or a business, or wondering where your next meal or the roof over your head is real. But if you can hang on, there will be another day. Pay attention though, this virus is really nasty. As of April 29th, according to the CDC, 43% of deaths related to COVID, nearly half, are people under the age of 75. The risk is not just for the elderly. Not only that, but for those who get really sick and survive, it's a long recovery, if they ever fully recover at all. And for those who watch as parents and grandparents, spouses and children, both young and old, die alone, it's heart-wrenching. How many of you want to go through that? True, most of us will do okay, but how you do depends on whether your immune system overreacts, and there's no way to know how yours will respond once infected. So be careful what you wish for. You may not have another day. And by the way, nobody around you wants it either, not your family or your neighbors or the healthcare workers you'd be jeopardizing. So deciding on our next step is a dilemma, and it's not an easy one. So if anything, I hope these episodes have given you a deeper understanding for what we're up against, what's at stake, the risks with any choice we make, and how we might navigate this dilemma. To open up profitably and safely, there are a lot of interconnected pieces that must be in place. And if each of us does our part, we may be able to, when the time is right, despite the risk. So be well. Remember, protect yourself and protect others from you. And please, take seriously the need to isolate if and as soon as you get sick. It gives us the best opportunity to trace, test, and contain. And it's the best way for you to help protect health and the economy. So stay emotionally connected and physically distant.